And I have to continue to grind myself into a fine dust.
Stop talking! Start doing!
And I started creating a whole nother warfare, a whole nother battle started becoming. I was like, oh, hang on a second, Goggins. You have these tools. You have these tools. Your life was basically the perfect grounds for training for where you need to go in your life. All the beatings, all the bullying, all the, you going through learning disabilities, all the struggles. It was the absolute perfect training ground for you to go to where you need to go. And that's how I started looking at my life versus woe is me, poopy pants, kick a rock down the street mentality. It was, nah. That's how they failed in that one moment. And they can't even enjoy their life now because they're now warm. They're now warm. There's no more suffering. There's no more suffering for me either. And we're in the same boat now. But you're suffering, so we're not suffering, but you're thinking about what you could have been. I am exactly what I should have been. And that's where people start to lose it. Because now I realize that in that 1 second. I go through all that. I know how it's going to feel because I failed so many times before. Failure is the ultimate thing, man. I failed so many times before. That's why I don't look at failure anymore as failure. I look at it as my first, second, and third attempt. So that's what that's all about, man.
There's a war happening right now. Not outside, inside your head.
When you grow up weak and you start to master your mind, because my whole thing is whenever I'm weak at something, whenever I'm scared of something, I master it. I was a weak-minded person, so I mastered my mind. And in mastering my mind, I realized why I no longer judge people, why I no longer put people on a pedestal, because we're all our own way. We all have demons. Some people hide them better than other people. So I know we all have them. By me knowing that, I know that most alpha males are very fragile. Very fragile. They never want to see another person harder than them. Ego up every time. Ego is serious. So if I can hurt your ego, I got you. So by me having such a fragile ego growing up, all this was my advantage. I was doing a live autopsy on how I was. I was like, hey.
Most people, they fold right there. They hear that voice and they obey. They stop when it hurts. They back off when they're tired. They quit when it sucks. But not you, because when you say, I'm not going anywhere, that's when your mind opens up. It expands. It grows. That's the 40% rule. Most people live at 40%.
So basically, as you know from the book, hope is bullshit. When I was going through SEAL training, a lot of people hoped that they would pull us from that cold water. Man, hope ain't gonna get you shit. Because it's not in your hands. Hope is not in your hands. You can't control hope, man. You can't. It's just hopefully this thing happens. But when you get belief, when you start to create belief, and belief isn't like an after school special. Most people think, oh man, like your mom and dad, you need to believe in yourself. Sesame Street, when I was growing up and shit, you need to believe in yourself. That's not the belief I'm talking about. It's the belief that you harness through hard work and dedication. And it's something that you know what you are capable of because you've gone there several times in those dark times. So my belief, why I kept on going back to Navy SEAL training and going back to all these different things, not because I hoped training would get easier. It's because I believed I could make it. Through the training I put myself through, I just wasn't doing and executing as I should. And I knew that. It was all on me. So then when I put that belief into work and that hard work came to fruition, everything happened for me.
You already know what to do. You've known it for years. But comfort's got you by the throat. Every excuse, every lie you whisper to yourself, it's all the same trap. And then there's that voice, that other voice, the one that says, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Get off the couch, put down the phone, quit pretending. You think you need a mentor? You think you need a morning routine or some life hack? No, you need a war plan. You need a mirror. You need to hear yourself say out loud, I've become soft, lazy, undisciplined, and I'm the problem.
I was not always this strong guy you see. I went through a lot of hard times in my life to get here today. I saw myself. I'm dumb. I'm not smart, and now I'm like this black kid amongst all these white people.
You ever feel it? That whisper in the dark, that quiet voice inside your head saying, "This ain't you, bro." That voice doesn't lie. It knows every excuse you made. It knows every day you hit snooze, every mirror you avoided, every goal you gave up on, and it still believes in you more than you do. See, your comfort will always beg you to stay soft. But that voice drags you toward the pain, toward the truth, toward the version of you that was written on your soul before the world broke you.
One thing in life, this applies to everything in life. Anytime you move from being normal to trying to be exceptional, people aren't gonna like that shit. Those normal people, it makes them feel like shit, so they're gonna judge you.
I'm not going back. And I went back. I'm not going back, and I went back. I'm not going back, and I went back. Life created this person, me. Life created me to be this person that I was back in the day. Through all the failure I went through trying to build this person who's Goggins.
How is that possible? It means I had to change one thing, my mindset. What changed me was I had to be hard on myself. But the work ethic, people think I became this guy from running.
Yeah.
No, I became this guy from studying. I had to study for hours. What might take you an hour to learn, take me 2 days. It showed me even more of what we have as humans, if we're willing to go there and we're willing to push that extra step. And like I say, I always tell people, a lot of people, man, how do you do what you do?
You say you want change, but when that alarm goes off, you roll over. You say you want discipline, but when it's time to suffer, you make excuses. You'll never change your life until you say, "I don't care how I feel, this gets done." You don't need a plan, you need a mirror. And you need to dominate the voice that's killing your potential. The voice that says you've done enough. You deserve this break. Start Monday. You're not like them. It's too late. It's too hard. Lies. That voice isn't your friend. That voice is the enemy. Real growth, it lives in the places you hate, in the workouts you don't want to do, in the skills you think you're too dumb to learn, in the reps you want to skip, in the fear you won't face. And when your mind says quit, you say, because you said that, we're going double today. You don't need a new plan. You need to stop negotiating with weakness. You don't need a new gym. You need to show up in the one you already pay for. You don't need a new life. You need to master the one you're in. Be the one, not the 9, not the 80, not the 90 who spend their life wondering what could have been. Your alarm is your battlefield. Your mind is your opponent. Your standard is your sword.
And nowadays, it's very easy to be a coward. Why? We got Instagram and shit. Most folks don't tell you to your face. They go online. They post about like cowards. Don't let cowards get in your head. And last thing, make sure you do you. Stay hard.
I think it's my take it or leave it kind of mentality, where I don't really think about your feelings. I don't really care about what you think or what you think about me, or if you're soft, if you're weak, if you're hard, if you're an alpha, if whatever the hell you are. I just don't really care. And I'm going to say what I believe is going to get you better. It may make you pissed off at me in the interim, but in the long term, if you really think about what I'm saying things to you that I had to listen to and, tell myself. And it's just, sometimes hard truth sucks. Because when I talk to people, like, I see where I'm at today, but I know where I come from. And the funny thing about it is that most people who hear me, they hear me cuss all the time. They hear me cuss, they hear me going off, carry the boats, carry the logs, all this shit. They hear all this hoopla, but they don't understand, man. There's a very, very, very philosophical side of David Goggins. And that's the side that book right there, Never Finished, gives them, is that's the real me. Like what they see me in a 1-minute video wrapped up. And the whole idea about that 1-minute video is that I'm trying to get you off the couch. And I don't have 10 to 20 minutes to give you some great philosophy about why we need to get off the couch. I just need to spark your ass off that couch. But when I write these books, I'm able to go deeper. I'm able to grab your attention, hold it, make you sit there and simmer on some of these thoughts. So my whole life is not some big hoopla pep rally. My whole life is about going into the dungeon and going into that area where I can go through all this shit and become a philosopher. I really am a philosopher, man. A philosopher about the mind, about how far we can go. And the first book didn't do that. And I did it on purpose because know what David Goggins was. So I'm not gonna give you never finished first because I haven't really gone out here and told you who David Goggins is. So now they knew who I was, and now I can bring it to the next level. And what's funny about that, my friend, the third book that no one's even heard about, that's almost done, it puts that book to shame. Shit, when I became whoever I am now, people always say, you know what? With success, you're gonna have these issues. And I just don't buy into all that shit. You know, everybody thinks you gotta settle when you become successful, and it's just people are gonna take your book and they're gonna bootleg your book, and it's just great signs of success. Well, you can sit there like most people do and just sit there and take that shit, or you can go ahead and believe that, you know what, I don't give a fuck how successful I am. I'm gonna hold your ass accountable for what, and that's just how it goes for me, man. So I just hold people accountable. No matter how successful you are, you must hold people to the standard. At the end of the day, I ask myself one question: can I take one more step? And usually the answer is yes. So if you can answer that question and not take another step, that is real failure. That is real quitting. So a lot of people can take one more step, but they choose not to. I don't know if you can take 2 steps. You got to answer that question after you take the first step. But I can always take one more step, so if I choose not to, that's on me. And I got to live with that. About people talking shit. And it became such a source of fuel that it was amazing, because I know why you hate me. You hate me because you're probably in the bed right now. You're probably an underachiever. You're probably somebody who doesn't want to do anything with your life. So I make you question everything about yourself. So I'm going to continue making you question yourself by coming out here and being even more successful. So I listen to that while I run. I sometimes played in the house about me, and she's like, why do you do this shit? It's half comical and it's half inspiring. I'm actually inspired by it. I've learned to study people before I react, because there's no successful person in the world who's in a good headspace that's gonna ever attack anyone in that kind of manner. There's always gonna be something wrong with them. So you gotta always dive a little deeper before you get your feelings hurt. Before you get your feelings hurt by that bully at school or that boss at work, take time. Take that 1 second to pull back and study them. Because most people who are in good places, they don't care about what you're doing. They don't care about what you're doing. They don't try to destroy you. They actually will try to build you up versus destroy who you are as a person. So that's where I'm at now in life, is most people who do that, they're in a very dark, dark place. I'm a superhero, but I'm a liar. I'm that now, but I wasn't born that.
Yeah.
I had to make myself into this shit. But once again, man, you can't lie to yourself. I can lie to you, and I can lie to everybody else, and I was great at it. But buddy, every day in that dirty mirror, that accountability mirror was no more. That accountability mirror, that's my head and go to work. But I saw my reflection every day. But I really didn't know how fat I was. I didn't really want to look at myself. But I was haunted. These demons were in my head every day. Man, you ain't shit, man. God, dog, man. You work in uniform, you get in your lab truck, you go spray for cockroaches. You can go in the kitchens, you eat them brownies and shit. In the back kitchen, you make shakes and shit while you're in there, man. I was like, man, so.
What do you think most people get wrong about motivation?
They think it's a permanent fix. They think it's something that is a constant. They think that maybe once I get it, I'm gonna hold on to it. And that's the thing about that I was telling you, that I always talk about, is nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent.
And a lot of times you have to learn to perform without motivation. You have to learn to perform without purpose. You have to learn to perform a lot of different things. And that's what people think. They think I need to have this motivation to work out, to study, to be better. So if they don't have it, they just don't. And that's where you fail. You have to learn to train your mind well beyond motivation. If you have motivation, that's great. That's some kindling to the fire. All it takes is a little spark, you can burn the whole forest up. But motivation, you have to learn to exist without it. You have to learn to be, you have to be your best self when you're least motivated. And that's the tricky part about all that shit. Motivation is just a word. You have to have these different things in your mind on where you want to go and know that motivation is not going to get me there. Because I'm not going to always be motivated.
Life is hard either way. Broke is hard. Success is hard. Choose your hard. Choose the pain of discipline over the pain of regret. You've got 2% energy, the urgency of the elite who move fast. Act now and don't wait for perfect. The fear of staying stuck, miserable, and unfulfilled should scare you more than any risk. Change is scary, sure. Things might get worse before they get better. But that's the lonely chapter every winner goes through. You're not alone in that struggle. You're just ahead of the pack. So go all in. Be selfish with your time, your energy, your dreams. Put your oxygen mask on first. Get strong. Stack your money. Crush your goals. In 5 years, you could be unrecognizable, living a life others can't even dream of. If you want it bad enough, you'll fight for it, day and night, through sweat, fear, and opposition. Develop the quality of being unstoppable. When life falls apart, when the rent's late, when everyone's against you, stand up and say, "Nothing will stop me." Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. Start today, take one step, then another. Don't wait for permission or the right moment. Go after your dreams with every bit of strength, faith, and grit you've got. Disappear, rebuild, and come back to show the world what's possible. You're not here to just exist. You're here to win. Let's go.
You said it perfectly there. The one thing that made me who I am today is being vulnerable. It's breaking myself down to the absolute rock bottom and being able to tell people who I am. And that's how I fixed it. Literally, being able to look somebody in the eye and say, you know what, man, I have a whole bunch of character problems, character flaws. I've lied about this. I've cheated here. I'm insecure here. This isn't the real me. I lied to you about that. I wanted your acceptance in life. All those things happen, but the thing about it is that we get judged so quickly by who we are. We don't know. We don't go to where it happened. You know, it's the worst pain I can't even describe the pain of that last 30 miles to anybody. No one, it's very hard.
Whole body?
Whole body. So when it ended, I'm literally dizzy going up my stairs to get to my house. I have my arms wrapped around her, going up the stairs, and every flight of stairs I have to lay down because I can't stay upright for too long or I'm gonna pass out. So I finally get in the house, and when I get in the house, I'm once again on the floor. I'm in the kitchen on the floor, just laying there. I finally make it to the bathroom, into the tub. I get rolled in the tub, and she puts the water on me. I'm just laying there with the water coming on me. And what I pee out looks like Coca-Cola. And I'm laying there in the worst pain of my entire life. I'm shaking, I'm jacked up. And all I could think about was, I can't believe what I just done. Because when you get to 70 miles of a race and you felt the way I did, to me, it was humanly impossible to even think about going 30 more miles in that shape. And once you do it, what came over me when that shower hit me and the reality hit that
You have to continue to live your life, or you can choose to be doomed and become a statistic. Like a lot of young people who fall back on their childhood when their childhood wasn't good. He never said any of this though. It was through his actions, by not feeling sorry for me, by how he worked me like a dog, that it came to me that this is what life is. Life is a training ground. And like going through Buds and Ranger School, very few people make it through. While you may live a long life, it doesn't mean graduated at the top of the class. You just lived a long, boring, despicable life. And that's not what I wanted to do. So Sergeant Jack started me out young, and I had to learn these lessons on my own through the discipline of hard work and cutting the grass and raking the leaves and doing all these things before school and after school. And he just built a mindset in me that I was like, okay, one day I can fall back on this. But I realized that Sergeant Jack taught me something that I'm gonna have to go back to for the rest of my life.
You can't do this job. And when you live a very stressed out life, like I was living, that's your norm. So not sleeping, being scared, that was my norm. I wasn't gonna quit. I was looking for strength my entire life. I didn't have any. I was a really weak kid. My dad beat the living shit out of me and took I was strong as a young kid. But me protecting my mom for so many years in that house, my dad made me very afraid because he beat the shit out of me every time I went at him. So in that, every man wants courage. Every man wants strength. At least this one does. So I found it in every way possible. And when I see a strong guy, I was like, okay, maybe he can teach me. So he didn't know anything about me. So time went on, I left school, and then this guy was in my mind. We had zero money, man. Like at one time, we lived in a $7 a month place, government subsidized apartments. Now we live in like a $200 place at this time. I went on a $500 phone bill. And back then, dude, and having no money, my mom wanted to kill me.
So what I was talking about with that one was my mom. And Can't Hurt Me, my mom was like, you're not gonna put some of my life in this. But over a period of time, I'm like, Mom, this is just life. I was a young kid watching you go through this shit. I was living it with you. And I didn't have the brain to absorb the adult life that you put my childlike brain in. So I lived it even more than you lived it. So I had to get my mom to a point where she even let me go here. So what I mean by that is I watched my mom and I was able to put all of my horror to the side, because when you're watching your mom go through horrific things, and I was never sheltered. It wasn't like my mom kept me from like my soon-to-be stepdad got murdered. It wasn't like she said, oh, we gotta keep this from David. People tried to kill him several times before they finally killed him. And we continued going to this man's house. They tried to kill him in the garage that they finally shot him and killed him in. We were still going to the house where this man, they attempted to kill him, and we were going there almost every weekend. My mom just didn't, and watching her get beat by my father, and then slowly watching her evolve into this woman who marries a guy that literally choked a woman to death and was in prison. And I'm watching all this shit unfold, and it was like watching a horror flick, and I was front row. Shit, I was part of the director's crew. I mean, that's how close I was to the whole thing, man. It was crazy.
When you feel broken, never give up. Because that feeling, that pain, it's not the end of your story. It's the part that shapes you. The part that forges something deeper. I know it hurts. I know it feels like no one sees what you're carrying, but you're still here. And that means you haven't lost. Look around you. Look within you. Life, in its magnificent complexity, will inevitably bring moments that test your very core. Moments when the weight of the world feels too heavy. When the path ahead seems to vanish into thin air. When the echoes of disappointment are deafening. Moments, my friends, when you feel truly, utterly broken.
I believe that you have to build belief. Belief is like, there's an after school special belief where the mom says, believe in yourself, and that's all great. But there's also a built belief. And the built belief is one where you are constantly, like for me, I came from a bad place. How I build belief is through the the daunting tasks I put myself through. So that's proof positive that I can. So it correlates. And that's how this piece of shit kid that I once thought I was built belief by saying, I was in 3 Hell Weeks. I went to Ranger School. I tried out for Delta Selection.
Undeniable stack of proof.
That is proof, mugger. So whenever you think you can't, the confidence comes from the thing that you built. You must build belief. You must build confidence. It can't be like, hey, I'm gonna knock that shit out. You gotta look over here and say, I can knock that shit out. It's belief, and it's built on what you put in to yourself. So
You are not defined by what broke you. You are defined by how you choose to put yourself back together. And not just back together, but better, stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more authentic. When life hurts and breaks, it's an invitation. An invitation to grieve, yes. To feel the pain, to acknowledge the loss. Don't rush past it, honor it. But it's also an invitation to rebuild, to sift through the pieces, to decide which ones you want to keep and which new ones you want to add. It's an invitation to redefine yourself, not based on what was lost, but on what you are becoming. It's in these moments that you learn the true meaning of self-love, of self-care, of radical acceptance.
if I can help you build belief, build confidence to the point where nothing can hurt you because you know exactly who you are. You've faced your demons. You've been able to go on an audiobook in your mind. Maybe you didn't write a book, but in your mind, you were able to hear all your past traumas. You were able to listen to them. You're able to can say, okay, now I can now talk to people about what I went through. I'm no longer embarrassed. I'm no longer ashamed. Being ashamed is one of the biggest things that kill people nowadays. In their minds, kill them from moving forward. I'm ashamed of myself. Don't ever be ashamed of anything you've done in your life. Face it, fix it, make it better. We are humans. But then again, if you always think that we're humans, you will always just be a human and always make the same mistakes. You must take this knowledge that you learn from all this shit is knowledge. So I'm just trying to give people that strength to go in the archives of your life. Because while you're probably up, it's probably something happened to you in your life. Go through the archives, dig it up, study it, and then use it for yourself. That's the main purpose for me right now.
This is what I need every day in my life. I don't need someone to say, good job, David. I don't need a pat on the back. Everything became internal. I started feeling this feeling I never had before. You know, like I thought I was a born loser. And just cleaning a tire and cleaning the car to the best of your ability changed everything. Raking the yard and not leaving one leaf. Not one leaf, and then one would fall, and I would get that one leaf. It just became something that was like, okay, I see dirt, don't pass the dirt, clean the dirt. It just started absorbing, and before you know it, man, it just morphed into a man that was like, we gotta get it done regardless.
Fix it now. So I must take it. I take all this shit, it's mine, I'm gonna fix all this shit. But I know to fix shit, people wanna find peace immediately. And this is where people don't like me. I don't believe that shit. You ain't gonna find yoga and all this other bullshit. I stretch out a lot and I believe in yoga, all this is great, but you ain't gonna find it in a room. You're gonna find peace from going to war with yourself, because we all got shit. We all got shit. People look at me, the reason why my story resonates with people, because I don't hide. I'll tell you exactly who I am, I will admit to it. People are great at hiding. So they want to just find peace. No, you got to take your shit, fix whatever's in you, don't just shove it under the rug, fix it, and then you'll find some peace later after you fix some shit. So now I'm realizing this, I go home, several months go by, and now I'm like, okay, here we go. It's time to be a Navy SEAL. I needed that to start the war. Wow. Without that, the celebration was I can start the war now. It wasn't that I won the war. I can start my war. Wow. That's what made me, that's why I've been celebrating since. I'm always in that battle. Yeah. I have peace, but I'm in this battle every day. Yeah. So I got to 50, I can start war now. I'm down to 215, I have about another month to go, or whatever it is, lose the weight. I dropped the weight, I'm in SEAL training now. Amazing. The war now can begin.
It took several years for me to figure out who the devil was, and the devil was my father. The devil was my father, but what I didn't put and never finished was the devil really was me. So what happened was I put all this blame, and trust me, my father and a lot of people had to do with my upbringing on how shitty it was. But like I put in that book, no one's gonna come back and say, hey man, I apologize. Maybe someone does. Very few people will. So today, when all things are said and done with, while my dad was the devil, and I believed that time, I had to confront him. And when I confronted the devil, so what I thought was the devil, I realized that I was the true devil. I was the one holding me back. I was the one looking for the scapegoat. And I was the one looking for all these ways to say, it's okay, David. You're a loser, you're a born loser, so it's okay. And I was hoping my dad was gonna give me that confirmation. And he was a loser himself, but at the end of the day, when I left there, I realized, well, shit, man, it's on me. They're not gonna save you. You gotta save yourself, my friend. So that's when all that reality hit me when I went to Buffalo to see my dad on that drive home. I was like, man, this rest of your life is gonna suck. It is gonna suck, not because you're gonna be a loser, but because you're gonna finally start to win. And winning is not easy, my friend.
You learn that healing is not a linear path. It's a dance of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's messy, it's imperfect, but it's always moving. So if you're hurting right now, if you feel broken, please know this. You are not alone, and you are not destined to stay in that broken place. Gather your courage, however small it feels. Reach out for support, give yourself grace, and take 1 tiny step forward. 1 breath, 1 gentle thought, 1 act of kindness towards yourself. Because from the deepest wounds, the most beautiful scars can form. Scars that tell a story of survival, of transformation, of triumph. Scars that prove you were broken, yes, but you were also rebuilt. And in that rebuilding, you discovered an unbreakable strength. A wisdom that only comes from navigating the storm. A profound capacity to live, to love, and to thrive, even after the breaking.
Well, that God came down here and said, hey, guess what, man? You're a fat ass, but I'm gonna now make you a badass. I'm gonna miracle this shit to be a badass. No, it was in me. I had to believe and make that belief work. And through hard work, I did that. So the 40% rule is like we have like a car. Some cars have a governor on it. And when you get to like 92 miles an hour, that car will start doing this because it can't go any faster. Those cars that don't have governors on, like a fast ass, whatever, Porsche, whatever, bury it, gone. We have that ability in us, but we have put this governor on our minds. And you have to, the factory that put the governor on that car, the factory is now you. That put this on your, until you take it off, you're gonna constantly get to 92 miles an hour and do this. Because you ain't gonna go no faster. As a matter of fact, you might even go slower. So basically, I started realizing this through my life, through going through all these times. So now I get through Hell Week, we ended like 30 hours early, and now we're in Walk Week. After you get through Hell Week, you have Walk Week. And Walk Week is when you're basically just walking around to heal up your body. And our Walk Week ended early because the instructors were pissed off. A guy dies. But the instructors are mad that we didn't finish a complete Hell Week, but I already had a complete Hell Week already.
Of course.
Because I already gone through one already. And it's kind of hard to almost separate that. I'm almost, not in a way I'm kissing my own ass, but I'm amazed at what a human being can actually do. So when I start talking to myself in the third person, it's strictly because I know that I literally made this human being out of just like a whole bunch of scraps. And I wasn't, I wasn't a mechanic. I wasn't a carpenter. So I didn't know how to do any of this shit. I wasn't trained in how to build a human being from nothing. Like my mom didn't train me, my dad didn't train me, life didn't train me. Well, life did train me. Yeah. Life did train me, correction. And I started putting this scrap metal together. I'm like, what's gonna happen? For the first year I tried to do is off up. And after a while, I started learning more and more and more through pain and suffering. I started learning so much about stuff. Before I knew it, man, I built this beautiful car. I'm like, how did I do that? And I knew how, and I know how to do it because I have all the tools.
Because life doesn't just break you. It also hearts you. It loves on you, lifts you up. And then sometimes, out of nowhere, it breaks something in you. But here's the truth. Those moments when life hearts you are not wasted. The joy, the peace, the love, they're real. And the times it breaks you, those aren't wasted either. Because even in the breaking, you're still breathing. You're still here. And that means there's still more to your story. You don't get to choose when the hearting happens and when the breaking comes. You do get to choose what you do in between. You can let the breaking define you, or you can let it refine you. You can curl up in the pain, or you can rise up through it. Every time life hearts you, celebrate it. Let yourself feel it fully. Dance in the light while it's shining on you. But when the clouds roll in and the ground shakes beneath your feet, don't run from the storm. Stand in it. Move through it. Let it wash over you, but don't let it drown you. Because here's something they don't tell you often enough. Healing's not about going back to how you were. Healing is about becoming who you're meant to be after everything you've been through. So if you're in a season where life has broken you open, don't panic. That's just the universe making space for something new, something stronger, something deeper. And if you're in a season where life is heaping love on you, savor it. Soak it in like sunlight. You deserve every ounce of beauty, joy, and peace that comes your way. This journey isn't about avoiding the breaking. It's about learning how to keep your heart open through all of it. To keep showing up, even when you're scared. To keep loving, even when you've been hurt. To keep believing, even when things don't make sense. Because the truth is, life hearts and breaks, but it never gets the final say. You do.
The only separator is that they really want to be there. There's some people that get inspired, and that inspiration moves them to try to do something. But the inspiration is very high right now in this nice environment. We're in a nice environment. The ocean's out there. I'm talking to you. If I want to go and get something to drink, eat, I can. I watch a movie about some badasses, you're inspired. But the second you're not in this environment and you're actually doing what inspired you, that suck factor is now real. You can't just get off us or turn the TV or go take a shit or a piss or go get your girlfriend to cuddle up. No, you're now there. And only those people who have been there a million times in their minds and have lived in that water and have suffered a million times and realize my legs may break, my knee may break, my bones will hurt. I will be the coldest I've been in my life. I will be miserable. And accept that. Because what happens is when you get in a horrible situation in life, your mind, I call it my 1 second decision. When you get in a horrible situation in life, your mind immediately says, get the f out of here. Everybody's does, even if you want to be there. But
it's heavy, but I'll tell you something. They won't. That loneliness, it's a gift. It's life's way of asking you, are you strong enough to build yourself without an audience? Most people run from it. They chase distractions, noise, people, anything to avoid facing themselves, but not you. You're here because deep down you know. Loneliness is where the real work begins. No fake smiles, no applause, just you versus you. It hurts, I know, but inside that pain, there's something else. Hope. Not the soft, wishful kind. I'm talking about that fire in your gut, that quiet voice that says, keep going. You're not done yet. You don't need them to believe in you. You need to believe in you. Remember this, the loneliest paths create the strongest warriors. You're not broken, you're being built. So, when the world goes silent, smile. That's your signal. Time to lock in. Time to build in the dark. Because soon, they'll hear the noise of your success. But first, you have to survive this part, alone.
it starts to have all these different questions. in your mind in that 1 second. And it says, okay, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why this? Why that? And then you start to say to yourself, if you don't want to be there that bad, I have a beautiful wife at home, man, doing this, man. Like, this is stupid. This is going to get these guys injured. Like they're going to pay for this for the rest of their lives. I'm not going to break my body up to do this. Your mind starts to say, yeah, this is stupid. But if you are already knowing that this is going to happen to you, you have all the answers to these questions that your mind starts to give you when you're in suffer mode. And I had to realize, man, that's okay, man. It's not my fault. Now I gotta go back and fix this shit though. So a lot of this isn't your fault, why you do some things you do, why you feel the way you feel. But no one's coming back to save your ass. You have to go back to where the shit started, wherever that place is for everybody, and have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you. And that's when I was like, hey, I'm gonna go back and fix this though. That's a fear that some people run away from, that people don't want to face. When you have a real fear of dying and being just another person, that I live to pay the bills, I made $1,000 a month. This is my life. I spray for cockroaches, man. If that makes you feel good, that's great. It didn't make me feel good. I wanted to, the first time in my life, after 26 years, it was 24, 25, wherever I was, I wanted to feel good about myself. And that was the ticket for it.
It's you, sitting there, full of dreams, full of potential, and perhaps, just perhaps, a tiny whisper of doubt, that little voice that asks, can I really do this? Am I good enough? What if I fail? I want to talk to you today about the most powerful force you possess, something more potent than any external circumstance, more influential than any opinion, and more transformative than any skill you could ever learn. I'm talking about belief. Specifically, belief in yourself. It sounds simple, doesn't it? Just believe. But in a world constantly telling you who to be, what to do, and how to measure up, it can be the hardest, yet most crucial act of courage. Think about it. Every great journey, every monumental achievement, every single step forward in history began with one person or a group of people who dared to believe. They believed in an idea. They believed in a possibility. And most importantly, they believed in their own capacity to make it real. You see, doubt is a thief. It steals your energy. It clouds your vision. It whispers reasons why you should stay small, stay safe, stay stuck. But belief is a builder. It constructs bridges where there seem to be none. It illuminates paths in the darkest valleys. It fuels your persistence when every fiber of your being wants to quit. Maybe you face setbacks. Maybe you've heard no more times than you can count. Maybe you've looked in the mirror and seen flaws instead of brilliance. Let me tell you something profound. Your past does not define your potential. Your mistakes do not diminish your worth. And the opinions of others are merely echoes, not your truth. Your truth resides within you. It's the quiet knowing that you are capable, that you are resilient, that you are uniquely gifted. To believe in yourself means to trust your instincts, to honor your voice, to stand firm in your convictions, even when the world around you shakes. It means understanding that you are not perfect, and that's okay. Perfection is a myth. Progress is the goal. It means embracing your imperfections as part of your unique strength. It means giving yourself permission to try, permission to stumble, and glorious permission to rise again, stronger each time. So, how do you cultivate this belief? Start small. Acknowledge your past successes, no matter how minor. Celebrate your effort, not just the outcome. Speak kindly to yourself. Challenge that inner critic. Replace I can't with how can I. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who see your light even when you can't, and be that person for yourself. Because when you truly believe in yourself, you unlock a power that transforms everything. Your fears shrink, your vision expands, and your actions become infused with an unstoppable energy. You stop waiting for permission, and you start creating your own reality.
That's where I feel good. I feel like I accomplished something. If things come easy, it's not fun. I must fail at something repeatedly. It has to haunt me. And then once I complete it, I've accomplished something. I don't want to set out and say, oh, there's an A. We're good. Stupid. No. I want to turn it in 1,000,000 times and say, you failed. You failed. And I'll say, okay, roger that. And sit there and analyze what I'm doing wrong. Go to these places that people don't go to anymore because all this social media shit and everything's computerized. I want to go to that dark place in my mind and say, okay, how are we going to get this done?
When life breaks you, it doesn't send a warning. It doesn't knock gently. It hits you in the chest when you're already on your knees. You feel like everything you believed in just shattered in front of you. You start questioning everything, your worth, your future, your strength. But hear me, the break is not the end. The break is the beginning of something new, something stronger. You don't grow in the easy seasons. You grow in the dark. You grow when nothing makes sense, but you keep showing up anyway. When life breaks you, it's easy to think you're cursed. It's easy to believe you're alone. But what if this isn't punishment? What if it's preparation? What if life isn't breaking you down? It's breaking you open to the next version of who you're meant to become. I know what it feels like to scream into a pillow, to walk into a room full of people and feel invisible, to carry pain so deep you wonder if you'll ever feel normal again. But I promise you this, broken doesn't mean defeated. Some of the strongest people you know were built in silence. They didn't post about their pain. They fought it privately. They weren't born special. They just refused to stay down. And you can too. When life breaks you, take a breath. It's okay to cry. It's okay to fall apart. But it's not okay to give up on yourself. Your story isn't over. It's just getting rewritten. Use the pain. Let it sharpen you. Let it fuel you. Let it teach you how to stand taller even with scars. Let it remind you that even in your weakest moment, you're still here, still fighting. You are more than what happened to you. You are the comeback waiting to happen. So wipe your face, square your shoulders, and say to life, you may have broken me, but you did not end me. This is not how your story ends. This is where your power begins.
My cookie jar is basically something I invented about. We forget how badass we are when we're suffering. Because our mind just stays right there in suffering. The cookie jar is a reminder. You know how your mom used to have the cookie jar, you don't know what kind of cookie you're gonna get. But it may be oatmeal raisin, maybe chocolate chip meat, because she's bad one to go. Yeah. So my cookie jars, the things I've accomplished, failed at, didn't fail at, just kept on grinding through. So I take this 1 second, I calm down, so I realize, okay, man, I gotta be able to just stand up first, come all dizzy and lightheaded, and I go through this process. And I said, I might quit, but not yet. I go, this is the worst day of my life. So I said I might quit because when you're not gonna quit something, you got 30 miles to go, your mind's spazzing. Like I'm done, like 30 miles is a long way to go, just fresh. I've already gone 70, I'm the worst day of my life. I'm like, okay, so I'm giving my mind some space. Because if you don't give it space, it's just gonna freak out. Okay. So I'm saying, you know what, I'm gonna quit, but let me just sit here for a second.
You might be tired. You might be on the floor, but broken is not finished. Broken is not failure. Broken just means you've been through something real. Something that tried to stop you, but didn't. And that matters. That means something. You're not weak for feeling like this. You're human. And humans break, but they also rebuild. You rebuild in silence, in moments no one sees. You rebuild every time you get back up when quitting feels easier. There is no shame in breaking, but there is power in rising. And if all you can do today is stand, then stand. If all you can do is crawl, then crawl. But never let go of that fight inside you. People might doubt you. Life might test you. But the only voice that truly matters is the one inside that says, keep going. Even if you have nothing left, you've still got your will. And sometimes that's enough to move mountains. You weren't built to quit. You were built to endure, built to overcome, built to rise from your own ashes and come back stronger than before. This moment of pain will pass, but the strength you build here, that stays. So don't give up. Not now. Not ever. You're too close to becoming who you were born to be. Broken. Maybe. But defeated. Never. You're not done yet. So breathe, reset, and rise again. Feeling broken doesn't disqualify you. It qualifies you to come back deeper, wiser, and more powerful. So don't let your pain become your identity. Don't let your past write your future. You are more than what's been done to you. More than your mistakes. More than your struggles. This is not how your story ends. This is how it transforms. So hold on, not because it's easy, but because you're capable of more than you know. and the world needs what only you can bring. Never give up, not because it's easy, but because you've already come so far. And the person you're becoming is worth every tear, every setback, every broken piece. So breathe, keep going, and trust healing is on the way.
Let me tell you the truth that nobody wants to admit. Discipline is doing what you hate like you love it. You think I run at 4 a.m. because I want to? No! I run because I know my competition isn't. And every time I lace up before the sun rises, I win a war before they even wake up! Go dark, go silent, go savage! Disengage from comfort, disconnect from the crowd! This is not a self-improvement phase! This is a rebuild from the ashes phase! No more announcement posts, no more watch me tweets! Lock in, work, and re-emerge so dominant the world will ask, where the hell have you been? They won't understand you. They'll say he's changed, and you'll smile, because that's the point. They don't see the problem because they've accepted mediocrity as their home. But you saw the truth. You saw your potential rotting and you decided, enough! 3 truths will change your life. You must be disgusted with where you are. You must demand more from yourself and your circle. You must work like your life depends on it, because it does. No one is coming to save you. This is your